Hi, I'm John Pollock, the CEO of Financial Gravity. Welcome to the first in our video series. That means you found it in the junk folder, which is great, and now you're able to watch. Let me tell you a little bit of how I got here. I am you. I'm a financial advisor. I started in the insurance business. I started with a tax planning firm. I did $49 tax returns to try to lead to annuity sales. I moved into wealth management. And actually, I had a good amount of success. And I kept hearing over and over again that rich people don't pay their fair share. And I thought, gosh, I'm looking at my tax return. This is beyond fair. So I started to go into the marketplace to solve my own problem. And where did I go? I went to CPAs. I called on CPAs and I asked them, hey, I heard rich people don't pay their fair share. I'm paying my fair share. How do I solve this? And what many of the CPAs said over and over again was some variation of, you make what you make, you pay what you pay. That was not acceptable to me. So I went to solve the problem, and that's where Financial Gravity came from, solving my own problem. And since I am a small business owner, you're a small business owner, and you have lots of small business owners in your market, by me solving my problem, we've created a great business model for you. So with that, let's dig into what we have developed for you. So what we're going to teach you today is first how to open the conversation, how to even have a conversation about taxes. Most of you are either selling safe money, or you're selling insurance products, or you're selling wealth management programs with better portfolio designs, and our guys can beat up your mutual fund. So that's typically what the marketplace is this idea of a hammer going after a nail. We're going to kind of change the conversation a little bit. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to run the 60-minute assessment and sell a blueprint. Now, we're not going to do the whole thing for you, but we'll talk to you a little bit about it so that you understand how easy it is to do, and you don't have to be a tax expert. We'll also show you how to deliver the blueprint and upsell to other products. So the purpose of the blueprint is to add credibility to the whole process. If you're delivering something from a company like Financial Gravity that has been vetted by CPAs and EAs and tax attorneys, when you deliver it, it's more powerful than saying, I'm selling you a product because this is what I sell. If we deliver a blueprint and it has embedded in it products, it has more credibility, and you're going to end up selling more products because you're actually solving a problem that the client wants solved. And if you solve the problem they want solved, you get to solve the problem they need solved. Also, we'll show you how to generate new leads. The process itself is actually going to generate leads. I actually use the illustration of a cocktail party. If I'm at a cocktail party with you and you say you're a financial advisor and I say I help small business owners lower their personal income taxes, I'm going to own the conversation for the night because the small business owners are going to be attracted to me. All right. So what do we want? We want leads and appointments. That's it. Most of us think that we can do pretty well if we had leads and appointments, so we just need more of those. We need a lead generation strategy that produces the volume of leads so that we can predictably and cost-effectively run our businesses. Remember, we are first and foremost a business, so we have to run it as a business. We want something that's more referable. The question is someone going to refer to you for income planning? They're getting dozens of emails about income planning and Medicare planning and safe money planning and my mutual fund is better than your mutual fund. They're getting that stuff already. So what can we do to go into a blue ocean strategy where we're completely different from anybody else in the marketplace? We want a lead and business generation strategy that eliminates a lot of the risk of traditional marketing. When I first started in marketing, I would do a 5,000-piece mailing, and I would fill 4 seminars with 50 people each. Those days are gone. I haven't done a seminar marketing mailing in 5, 6, 7 years. It's been a long time. So we'll teach you why you don't need to do that anymore, although we are starting to market some seminar marketing, but we're going to show you some cutting the edge stuff that you may not need ever to use seminars again. We'll also show you a client acquisition strategy based on real needs. So once again, I'll use the phrase over and over again, is that if you solve a problem people want solved, you'll get to solve the problems they need solved. So everybody hates taxes, whether you're on a liberal city or a conservative city. Everybody hates personal income taxes. Everybody is looking for ways to save money there. And small business owners are a very, very untapped market. And then we'll give you a proven path to success. We've tested this. I've done the process myself. Then I took that process, I gave it to someone else. That person duplicated the process. We've hired salespeople internally to duplicate the process. We have financial advisors throughout the country duplicating the process. The process is duplicatable, so you can do it. We have an expert team with a proven track record. We have a very good leadership team that is helping with marketing and all the pieces that you may not have in your business, you'll have access through us. We're not an FMO. We don't want you to run all your business through us. We will make that available to you if you need that, because there's going to be opportunities to do products and services that you are not aware of, and those products and services are very lucrative, and you may or may not want to spend the time and energy to source those. We'll help you source those. But we have a proven track record of success. We want you to have a business model that you don't have to worry about as much. I mean, there is downward pressure on the market. The commissions that we're paid on annuities are lower than they've ever been. The cost, the robo-advisors sweeping into the country, driving costs down, and regulations are going up. So we have higher costs, lower revenue. That's a problem. We're going to help you solve that problem by going into a marketplace that people just aren't in. You'll also have a renewed sense of confidence and hope for where you can take your business. You want to believe again that what you have is a product or a service that the customer needs. And when you have that, that will help you be more successful. And you're going to make more money. So, I mean, that doesn't hurt either. It will give you the ability to relax and envision a bigger and better future as a result of having been freed from the fear of, where's my next lead coming from? What's interesting about this business model is it's highly referable. People don't typically refer to an annuity guy. They don't typically refer to the money management guy. But if they can save $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 in taxes, they will talk about that. We know because it's happening to us. And we'll show you how, by doing the tax planning, you're actually going to create sales over a long life cycle. We have one client. Well, I won't steal the thunder. I'll talk about that in the case study section. So you'll have more free time and energy and invest in your family because you'll be, first of all, you're going to be loved in your community. Our clients absolutely love us. We have literally changed their lives. When we talk about how we've helped a couple that owns a McDonald's franchise, actually they own 6, a guy that actually through tax planning was able to sell his business and create new businesses, all of which we were part of. So very, very exciting business model. All right, so here are our challenges. First of all, you're an advisor. It's very hard. I've already talked a little bit about this. Costs are going up, fees are going down. It's very, very difficult. It's difficult being an advisor. It's difficult being a small business owner. But you add on to the layer of complexity and regulations that we have in our industry. It's a very difficult job to have. Traditional marketing client acquisitions are failing, and they're failing very quickly. Mailing rates are going up. I mentioned the example of where I would mail 5,000 pieces and fill 4 seminars. We can't do that anymore. And the solution from the mailing houses is to double the mailing size, which is nuts if you think about this, is they fail and they make more money as a direct result of their failure. How's that for a business model? We don't get that luxury. If we fail, we lose clients. So we have to figure out a way to solve for that. Many of the businesses are failing or going broke, and I think part of that has to do with the tax code. We're saving on average $21,000 per small business. In many cases, it's actually higher than that. We don't even report our real average tax savings because no one would believe it. When you take $20,000 and put it back in the hands of the small business owner, which you are, by the way, you are our target market. So you should be our first client. We'll talk more about that. But if you put money back in their pocket and put more money back into their bottom line, we'll prevent businesses from failing. This is a mission. We want to help small businesses be more successful because they run the economy. They help the economy. Technology is commoditizing the industry, making it impossible to compete on price or market returns. This is where the robo-advisors is creaming the financial services industry. And I think it's even a bigger threat than most financial advisors admit. I went to a financial services conference, big software company. There were thousands of people there, and I was asking people, what do you guys think of the robo-advisors? And the comment I was getting from people was, oh, we don't have to worry about them because wait till there's one market downturn. there's no way they can compete, because when there's one market downturn, a robot can't hold the hand of a client. I beg to differ. The last market downturn, one of the largest robo-advisors turned on a call center and called every single one of their thousands of clients within 24 hours. So this is a threat. They're using technology to service their clients at a level that we just can't compete with. So we have to compete in a different way. We'll give you an exit strategy. We're going to show you a business model that's sellable. Why? Because we'll buy it. That's going to be a great conversation. We want something that's not product focused. We want something that's profit focused. A product focused business can be decimated. As many people that were selling annuities at 15% commissions, and now those commissions are less than half of that. So we don't want a product focused business. The hammer seeking a nail business model is going to die. I am convinced of it. So we are building a business model for you and for us that will eliminate that. The other thing is that the market is just ridiculously saturated. I mean, whenever I talk to a financial advisor and he tells me he does income planning, are you kidding me? Medicare planning, income planning, there's all these different things that just seem to pop up and then everybody does them. Marketing is the same way. Everyone did seminars and a lot of people are doing radio. We just canceled our radio show because we have better marketing methods that are cheaper and more effective than radio. So we'll talk to you a little bit about that too. So what's interesting is that you'll have the opportunity to get your own tax plan, your own tax blueprint, so that you can say that you're a customer of the very thing that you're selling. Many of you don't own annuities or don't even own the portfolios that you are selling. In this case, it'd be nuts for you not to have a tax blueprint, because that tax blueprint is going to pay for access to us. So basically, we're going to use the tax code to help you run your business better, which is exactly what we do for our clients. You'll be a client, and then you'll take that experience and you'll take it to their clients, your clients. All right. But John, I know what you're thinking. I don't know the tax code. I don't want to learn the tax code. It's too complex. You actually know more of the tax code than you know that you know. In most cases, you actually know more of the tax code than a CPA, a seasoned CPA. And we'll talk about why this is. Some people that are watching have done the $99. I actually started with the $49 free tax. Well, it wasn't free, but for $49 it was darn near free. So this is a model. It doesn't work. I've tried it, and there's better ways. And I can get you lots of references on why this does not work. Giving something cheap away to get to something expensive is not a good strategy. It doesn't work for luxury brands. So they're not giving away something cheap in order to sell the iPhone. They just sell the iPhone. So I've tried working with CPAs, and that doesn't work either. You're right, it doesn't. So we'll solve for that. I don't understand tax planning. You don't have to. In fact, the less you understand about tax planning, the more successful you'll be. We actually see a lag. The sales start going down a little bit when people start to get too knowledgeable, because then they tell people stuff. We don't want you knowledgeable in tax planning. Let us be the experts. We'll deliver the plan so that you can deliver the products and the services to your clients and save them tons of money in taxes. You don't have to learn the tax plan. We do have, and we'll talk at our conference about some tax strategies, what we call tax bait, which is strategies that your clients haven't heard of, and it will help you drive a wedge between their CPA and their current financial advisor, but we'll talk more about that as well. I don't know how to market and reach small businesses. You do. We'll show you that you do, and we'll actually show you how to get to these folks. Small business owners are busy, so they're hard to get to because of that busyness, but they're not being called on by a lot of financial advisors. And the financial advisors that are calling on them are selling them product. So if we sell them a solution, which is to save them tens of thousands of dollars in taxes, they will take your call. I don't have the staff to do tax planning. Guess what? We do. We'll help you. All right. So here's my story. I'm an advisor just like you. I started out selling annuities, and then I went into managed money. I put $100 million under management in just a handful of years. I was not part of a broker-dealer. I was completely independent the entire time. I switched from FMO to FMO, looking for the next cool thing, which a lot of people do. That's why we are not going to be an FMO, and we are not going to affiliate with an FMO. If an FMO wants to partner with us, we'll talk to them, but we're not going to require that you join an FMO to have our program. Our program is going to be direct to the advisor because I think the FMO model is going to die eventually. The broker-dealer model is going to die eventually. So we're not going to build a model we may want to work with them. We aren't now, but we may. But in the future, our objective is to be independent and direct with the advisor. So I sold life insurance and annuities. I went into money management. I even did the tax return model where we did $49 tax returns. I did that for several years. It had a reasonable amount of success, but one thing they don't teach you in that model is that tax planning is all year. Tax returns are all year. It's not, April 15th doesn't mean you're off. There are people that want to file extensions, and if you don't file an extension for them, then you're reliable. So all these problems came with this $49 tax return model, now $99 tax return model. So we decided to move away from that model. So one way to move away from that model is I was going to buy a couple of CPA firms because I had heard at a conference that was a good idea. You can tap into the client list of the CPAs. That didn't work either. So I spent over $1 million and bought 2 firms, partnered with the CPA. None of it worked. And what was interesting is I thought I was the problem. Then I thought the CPA was the problem, and then I found out it's an industry problem. CPAs want different things than financial advisors, and CPAs are wired different than us. So you're trying to kind of mix oil and water, and it just doesn't work. So it's not that they're bad people, it's just it doesn't work. Trust me on this one. Now, someone watching this is saying, well, I have a CPA that I'm working with, and it works great. Well, you've found lightning in a bottle. It's very rare. Run with it, but we'll actually help you strengthen that relationship because we don't dislike CPAs. My son's becoming a CPA. So I'm a fan of CPAs. They have a role, but the role, we have a unique problem in the marketplace. Everybody thinks CPAs do a thing that CPAs don't do. So that problem is a huge opportunity for us. So I wanted to add AUM for recurring revenue. So I built $1 million firm by doing that. So I'm you. I've done a lot of different things. I've sold insurance. I've sold assets under management. So I know kind of what's in your head because I'm a lot like you. So when we have designed Financial Gravity, we designed it with you in mind and how do we best serve the financial advisor? How do we best serve? I don't want to do any work. I just want to sell, meet with the client, have a relationship with the client, and then move on. I do not want to have to do stuff. So we're very sensitive to that, and that's how we built the model. So, well, I already said this, cheap stuff doesn't get to expensive stuff. CPAs are our bad partners, they're not bad people. Saying my mutual fund will beat up your mutual fund or my money management will beat up your money management is not a viable model. Many of us have grown our business by doing that and teaching it, but it's longer, more painful financial services process, sales process. It just doesn't work. So it doesn't work as fast as doing the tax planning. And what's interesting about the tax planning is it creates a level of stickiness because people will stay loyal to you. If they buy your portfolio and they think they have a better portfolio, then they'll switch. But if you do their tax planning, there's really no one to switch to. So talked a little bit about this already. A hammer looking for a nail business model I think is going to die. Having one product and one service and trying to sell that to as many people its time is on the wane. So many of you are probably making lots of money doing this, but over time you'll see the numbers start to decrease in this type of model. So all of this led me to advanced tax planning. I had these problems and I wanted to solve them, so I solved them and we've built a pretty robust business out of it, and now we want to make it available to you guys. So our solution is first is the 60-minute assessment. So what we're doing with the 60-minute assessment is we're just asking a few questions. We'll give you a software package where you ask a series of questions and it will output a price for the tax blueprint. And you can make anywhere from 25% to 75% commission on that, and we'll get more into that at the conference. We're not going to cover that really in this course. But the reality is that even at 25%, since we charge anywhere from $2,000 to $10,000, you're going to make a pretty good amount of money just selling blueprints, which leads to the financial services business that you so desperately want. So we'll talk about the marketing and client acquisition strategy. We will show you how Financial Gravity helps consumers and advisors at the same time. You're going to learn both those things in this course. We're going to talk a lot about the tax blueprint. You do not have a tax plan without a tax blueprint. The tax blueprint is the key, and the tax blueprint exists only in the Financial Gravity business model. You can't get it anywhere else. We spent a lot of time and energy learning this, and the purpose of the tax blueprint is to deliver a product to the hands of your clients that will add credibility that you can't get by saying, you know, I'm going to put you in a life insurance policy because it's a good tax plan. Tax planning is not a product. It's a process, and it takes time. That time you should be paid for, and we'll show you how we've built that. So now you don't have to learn anything. You don't have to learn all these 15 different products and then go out into the marketplace and figure out which one to sell when. We'll do that for you. It will lead to products. We have an analogy that we like to use is that we really are furniture salesmen, and if we can just figure out a way to sell more furniture, but if we design the house and build the house, won't those people that we designed and built the house for just let us furnish it? And the answer is yes. So we're going to show you how to design and build a house so that you can furnish it with financial services products. What's interesting about the tax code is it leads to financial services products. So it's pretty magical, actually, because it leads to all the stuff that you can do for clients that you didn't even know existed. And we'll touch on it a little bit, but we don't want to get into the weeds too much, because what's the problem with many tax strategies is a lot of people will tell you about the strategies and try to teach you all you need to know about the product and the strategies that relate to that product, and you really shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be focusing on learning as much as you can about all the products. You should be focusing on client relationships, getting new clients. Let us find the business for you after you found the client, and we'll help you with that too. So we have the team and support, everything on the back office, and we'll talk a little bit about that, how we've built it with me in mind. I didn't want to learn. You know, when I sold an insurance product, I never did the underwriting. The insurance company did the underwriting. The insurance company did the fulfillment. So all of that's done somewhere else. That's the way this will work with you guys. All right, so why do we do the free assessment? Well, because we got to determine whether we can help the client or not. But it's a pretty easy sale. If you tell a client that if you pay us $2,000, we'll find you $4,000, it's easy to sell that. One of our financial advisors can't believe, after he started meeting with clients, how easy it was to get information from his clients. When he was selling prospects in the wealth management field, he had a hard time getting statements to prove that his model beat up their model. But he found it super easy to get an entire tax return with Social Security, with all this private information, was super easy to get. Why? Because he was no longer perceived as a salesperson. He was solving a problem they wanted solved, which is lower personal income taxes. So people will give you the information so that you can solve this problem that no one else has solved for them. So that's why we do the free assessment. We'll teach you how to conduct an assessment that ends in a tax blueprint sale. So the assessment is basically a series of questions, which doesn't actually take 60 minutes. It doesn't take that long at all. And what's going to happen as you get better and better at it will take you 10 minutes. You'll be able to determine whether or not you can save money. I can determine whether we can save money just by asking a couple questions. What is your gross income? What is your income that you pay yourself? So if I talk to a doctor that's paying himself $500,000 a year in income, I could probably save him $50,000 in taxes. Simple math. Now I can use a software program and get a little bit more granular and more accurate, but I know that a doctor making $500,000 a year, we can save him $50,000, and it's probably going to be higher than that. So that's what's covered in the assessment. Is we ask a series of questions and with an effort to get to the tax blueprint sale. It's in your best interest to not answer as many questions as they might have. Because they're going to ask you questions. Well, what are you going to recommend? Oh, I don't know yet. You know, it's like when you go to a car dealership, they don't just say, buy this. They're going to ask you a bunch of questions to determine what car is the best fit. So that's what the 60-minute assessment's about, is asking the questions so that you can deliver on the ideas that you have. So why do we do a paid tax blueprint? Well, doing the paid blueprint is because it's a real strategy. We actually spend time and energy determining what the best strategies for the clients are. Some of the strategies, we really like certain strategies, but if someone's in a different state, some states tax S and C corps differently than, say, Texas, where we're located. So we still have to do some work to determine what the best thing is. We want to charge for it because that means you make money on it and it provides more value. We guarantee we're going to double people's money. And here's the interesting secret. I probably shouldn't tell you this, but I'm going to tell you anyways, is that our average right now is $12 return, a 12x return. So for every dollar someone pays us, we're finding 12. So if someone pays us $10,000 for a blueprint, we're finding $120,000 in tax savings. That's huge. So we don't guarantee that, and the reason for it is because no one's going to believe it, so we focus on a 2x promise. But if you charge a real amount of money, then you're going to establish a real relationship from the beginning. Giving away stuff for $49 establishes a relationship as you're cheap. Giving something away for free establishes that you're cheap. Charging a real dollar value for something of real value establishes that you're a real business. And we know it works because we've been doing it now for a long time. So charging for a plan makes you a consultant, not just another financial advisor. And what's interesting about financial advisors is most people now know that financial advisors aren't financial advisors. They're financial product salespeople. So by charging for a plan, you're positioning yourself completely differently. And this is another one of those strange things, is a lot of CPAs will give some of the same advice that we give, not all of it, because that's not what they're trained to do. The A in CPA is accounting, so they're trained to record data, not proactively plan. Ironically, that's what financial advisors are really good at. So by charging for the blueprint, we know that they'll implement the advice, because when you pay for something, you're more likely to implement it. It's the nature of humans. So by charging, it helps us. But we'll show you how to do that in the next video. So that's the key, is you're going to start making money on the way to making money. Many of you are running around doing free analyses and you can't charge. I mean, some of you may charge $1,000 for a plan, but it's hard to get people to implement them. So we solve all these problems because we're changing the paradigm of the entire sales model. And by changing the paradigm, you're actually going to change the way your future clients are going to look at you. And that's powerful. So stop giving away free stuff. You don't have to. A lot of you think you have to, because if you don't give away the free stuff, you're not going to get to the sale. You don't have to. We're going to actually show you how to sell stuff on the way to the sale. So that's the cool part about what we're doing. So, marketing and client acquisition strategy. Marketing, as we know it, is dead. And the reason for it is because eyeballs are in different places. So are I heard this at a podcasting conference, they called it earballs. So the eyeballs and the earballs are in different places. Radio is starting to die. None of my kids listen to the radio stations, ever. They listen to Spotify. I listen to Pandora, the iTunes Music, one of my kids listens to, because they can select the music they want to listen to, and they don't have to pay for it if they don't want to. Everything's kind of moving to this subscription model. So the habits of people are shifting. I mean, watch Netflix. Netflix has got, 80-some shows now? So they are their own network now. So we don't need ABC, NBC, and CBS. So where people are viewing stuff is changing. I mean, you're viewing this video. This type of medium didn't exist 10 years ago. I wouldn't have been able to communicate with you this way. So we have to go where things are moving. So we are doing that, and we'll show you how we're doing that. This is amazing. 75% of all dollars are going to digital by 2020. So most of you can do really good math because you're in financial services. That's coming. It's like, we're going to wake up tomorrow and 2020 will be here. It's coming. So we're going to teach you how to completely automate, kind of like what we're doing now. 10 people may be watching this right now while I'm sleeping. That's the power of what we're doing right here. You will have access to this as well. So you'll have the access to be selling when you're sleeping. That's powerful. All right. We have a complete back office system. So we have a client support team. We'll help answer questions. We'll talk the tax blueprint. We have the people that did it. We have a tax operating system that helps people actually implement the plan that you've sold them. We have a wealth operating system. We'll show you how to sell stuff. We're not going to spend that much time on these videos on the wealth operating system or the tax operating system, but that's an entire back office that you need to be aware of that will help you serve your clients. And you'll actually make money on it too. So service while making money is always a good thing. We'll help you execute on the strategies recommended to your clients. So if for some reason we give a strategy and you've never heard of it before, like MERPs and CHICS, and there's all these different strategies out there. If you haven't heard of it and you're not comfortable with it, we'll help you with it. So if you don't want our help and you want to run with it yourself, you can. If you do want our help and you want to partner with us, you can. We're going to help you. We want you to succeed because, and I know this is this is trite, and you've heard this before, but we don't succeed unless you succeed. And this is the God honest truth, because we need you to grow this. We're on a mission. We want to help small business owners be more successful. And if we can help them be more successful, it's good for the U.S. economy, and it's good for us because we make money and you make money. So we're trying to build all the systems necessary to serve you. We've got most of them in place, but as we add advisors, we're learning the things that they need, and we're adding the refinements as we grow. We're going to train you on the tax strategies. We don't want you to spend a ton of time on them, but we will train you on them so that when you see them in a tax blueprint, it won't be foreign to you, but you do not have to become an expert. You just want to be good enough to communicate about it. Go back to insurance. You have no idea how real life insurance or an annuity is built. Most people just don't get it. I mean, no one's read the prospectus of the mutual funds they sell, and no one reads the policy. So I know someone out there has, but I've never have. So we want you to be good enough to be able to communicate well, but we don't want you to necessarily have to know when we implement stuff and when. So that's that part. Like an insurance company. So I use this analogy already, is right now you write a policy, that person has to give up bodily fluids, whether they have to pee in a cup or they have to take blood or they have to spit on a stick. One of those things has to happen before the policy is issued. A lot of stuff happens behind the scenes, and then everything gets reduced to a little tiny stack of papers and then mailed to your client. So all of that happens behind the scenes. None of you know how what's going on behind the scenes, but you're comfortable with it because you're used to it. I want you to think of what we're doing exactly the way an insurance company works. You'll ask a series of questions, you'll give them the price, you'll collect the check, you'll send the check to us, we'll process the information, we'll send a commission check back to you with a tax plan, we'll even help you deliver it. So if you want us on the phone to deliver it, we'll be on the phone. If you're local and you want us in person, we'll be in person. But eventually you'll probably want us to back away. So we're here to support you so that you can become successful. So look at us as like an insurance company without the bodily fluids. We just need to collect the tax return and some very basic information, and we'll get a blueprint to you and to your clients. All right, tax planning foundation. So we're going to lay the foundation. We're not going to spend a ton of time on the advanced tax planning concepts because it's advanced and it doesn't meet all people's needs. We have a tax planning strategy that you can stash $1 million a year tax-free. That's going to be awesome if you run into it, because you'll be able to get $1 million under management every year, because they're going to implement it with you because they can't implement it with anyone else because they haven't heard of it from anyone else. And adding $1 million in assets under management from one client every single year, and knowing that it's sticky, because where else are they going to go? No one else knows how to do it. So, and we'll be doing the books, and we'll be doing stuff that it requires them to stay with you. So that is pretty powerful, but there's no sense spending a ton of time and energy in all the tax laws that allow you to do that, because it's not often that you're going to run into someone that can stash $1 million a year. So when those come up, we'll help you. But there's basically only 4 strategies. So this is something that you need to know. So this is what we'll spend some time on. There's only 4 strategies. They're very simple: shifting, timing, code, and product. Shifting is shifting from one entity to another. So if you shift from a sole proprietor to an S Corp, we can eliminate self-employment tax. That's a shifting strategy. Timing, IRAs, most of us are familiar with IRAs. If you put money in an IRA, you're choosing not to pay money in taxes now, you're choosing to pay money in taxes later, which we'll show you is actually not a good idea. In many cases, timing shifts money to a higher tax bracket later. So this is one of the challenges with annuities, and I'm going to confront the annuity people on this. If you're putting an annuity in a non-qualified account, you're not doing your clients a favor. Because all you're doing is shifting the tax burden to later, and you're shifting it to the highest income tax bracket they'll always be in, which is regular income tax. If you put that product in, if you put that money in something like a stock portfolio, they don't have to pay taxes until they sell it, and then they only have to pay capital gains, which is lower than regular income. If your clients are planning to be in a lower income tax bracket, first of all, there's a problem with that. Why are you planning to be less successful when you retire? And second of all, do you think with all the debt that we have in the country that income tax rates aren't going to change in some way and not to your favor or your client's favor? So making sure that timing is shifted to, the timing and the shifting are shifting and timing to a lower tax bracket, not a higher tax bracket. So we'll show you actually how to make cases that 401ks are not really great for clients. So we'll be able to drive a wedge between their current financial advisor and their current CPA. So you will be the shining star because you're going to show them with factual data that the decisions that they've been asked to go down, the processes that they've been done, like putting money in a 401k, are actually not good for them. And we'll show you actually how to fix it. So shifting and timing. Code is a pure code strategy. So mortgage interest deduction. Most of you know about this. You have mortgage interest, you put it on Schedule A, you can deduct it. That's just pure code. You're not really shifting anything. You're not really timing anything. You're using the code to the advantage. There's lots of codes out there that you can do really cool stuff with. My glasses. If I make money and then I pay taxes, and then I go buy my glasses with it, I'm actually paying for my glasses with after-tax money. So, you know, glasses that may have cost $750, it really cost me $1,000 because I had to earn $1,000, pay the 25% taxes. Now I have $750, now I can go buy my glasses. So what happens if I can buy my glasses without paying the taxes? What if I can pay for my glasses tax-free? You can, and we'll teach you how to do that, and that's in the code. So there are laws with code. Everything strategy we give your clients and you, we will actually give them an Internal Revenue Code number so that they can, if they just don't believe it, they can go online and look at the Internal Revenue Code and read it. So, and then product, this is why most of us are here, is that, I actually joke about this, it's almost as if the financial services industry and legislatures play a lot of golf together, because the products and the mixes of how the products work and the tax advantage of insurance and financial services products, it's pretty powerful. I mean, I'll give you an example. So if I have an IRA and I have a mutual fund in an IRA and I bill on that mutual fund, I get paid, but my client does not have to pay taxes on the money coming out of the IRA to pay me. Why is that? Probably because the financial services industry lobbied for it. Because imagine that there was taxes being paid on the money coming out of the IRA to pay your fees. Would people even use a mutual fund if that was happening? Maybe, maybe not. Because if they're always paying taxes every time you get paid, that's a problem. Well, they lobbied, and so that's very interesting, is that the financial services, the only way you can get money out of an IRA tax-free is in a fee. Also, you can do it in a divorce too, but we don't want, that's not a good strategy. So it's interesting that these products have some very good tax advantages tied into them. So, but we have to be careful because many products are sold as tax planning. Products are never tax planning. Products may be the component of a tax plan, but they're not the tax plan itself. And there are some insurance agents out there and there are some organizations that are selling products as tax planning. Buyer beware. Products are never tax planning. They should be part of a holistic plan. First of all, it makes it stickier. Clients are going to stick with you longer if it's part of a plan and you're systematically adding multiple strategies. You're adding all of these instead of just one. And if you're just selling products as your tax plan, then you have all the problems that we've already talked about. So these are the 4 basic strategies. The blueprint is actually going to deliver the strategies and outline these 4 basic strategies within the blueprint. All right. Opening the conversation. Before you can use any of these really cool strategies, you have to know how to open the conversation with a prospect. So it's really quite simple. What I say is, when someone asks me what I do, I say I help small business owners lower their personal income taxes. That, by the way, that one thing right there, if that doesn't get you sales, I don't know what will. Everywhere I go, I get sales. I go to conferences, I tell people, and they ask me questions, and I give them just enough information to tease them and say, hey, call me later. Look, we're at a cocktail party. Let's enjoy the cocktail party. Give me your card. I'll have someone call you, or I'll call you. It's a very easy conversation. You'll find yourself getting sales just by being in a blue ocean. If you haven't read the book Blue Ocean Strategy, you might want to, because that's what we're doing. We're going into a market nobody's in and no one's really targeting very aggressively. So it's I don't know if I'm going to date myself with this. Remember those E.F. Hutton commercials? When E.F. Hutton talks, people listen. That's what happens. I'm in a cocktail party and I say I help small business owners lower their personal income taxes. People in the room that are small business owners kind of zero in on me. It's really a strange thing, and then they'll come up to me and say, hey, I heard that you help people with taxes. The next question they ask is, are you a CPA? To which I respond, no, that's why I'm so good at it. And then they kind of chuckle because they know that their CPA hasn't done a really good job at it. And then I have to teach them that CPAs are not trained to do tax planning. There's not a single question on the CPA exam about tax planning. Think about that for a second. Not one question on the CPA exam about tax planning. And this is where everyone's going. CPAs are not trained to do tax planning. The only CPAs that know how to do tax planning either learned it by accident because they kind of went down that path, but their traditional training, the initials that they get, do not make them tax planner. Bookkeepers, EAs, CPAs, tax preparers, none of them are tax planners. We are, you can be too. All right, because you're still watching this, I know that you're serious because we covered a lot of information. So you're definitely serious and you're willing to take your business to the next level. So congratulations. And what we're going to do next is we're going to teach you how to sell the blueprint and how to overcome the myths of tax planning. There's a lot of myths out there as to, and we've covered a little bit of them. We stepped into them about the CPAs and stuff. There's a lot of myths out there. Some of them may be in your head right now. You're thinking, what about this and what about that? We're going to deal with those directly head on in the next video. So thanks for hanging in there with us, and we look forward to talking to you more when you receive the next email. Make sure you check your inbox and make sure it doesn't go to spam, because it will be there as soon as you finish this, which is now. Thanks for watching.